Hello team, today's challenge is Parsec Converter, where we're given a number, and based on if it is odd or even, we calculate a time or a distance. The time being in hours, the distance being in light years, which is kind of weird, right? I don't know if parsecs actually work like that, but some very weird code going on today. All this can happen really quick, so right here we can set up a variable. This is going to be our factor, okay? The thing that we multiply parsecs by, and we're going to get that parsecs and modulo 2. Now, if this is equal to 1, it is odd, right? Hopefully that makes sense, which means that we should be multiplying by the hours being 2. Otherwise, we multiply by the distance, which is 3. Be careful with that one because I caught myself, okay? It is 2 parsecs equal to 6, which means that it's 6 divided by 2 is 3. Don't get caught. I absolutely did. So 3 right here, which means that now we can multiply by factor, and it works really fast. Not great, though, and let me explain why. On the one side, when I work in functions, if there's a bug, yes, you have to fix a bug. If there's a refactor, like if we're refactoring an if statement to be a ternary or something like that, that's a great time to do work on the function. But if all we're doing is coming in here and we find out that this should actually be 12 for whatever reason, okay? Now I've edited a number, right? And editing numbers inside of here, that's why we call them magic numbers, because they could be anything, right? And the other side of this is, what does 2 mean? Without the instructions here, right? If you didn't read the instructions and you were just looking at this, what does 2 mean? What does 3 mean? So in this case, we would have to comment that this is the hours and this is the distance, like this. It gets kind of silly, right? And of course, doing any sort of manual change to this, I don't like it, right? So we're going to make it a little bit better by grabbing these 2 lines here. We're actually going to change 1 and 2, but because it's in a table, it's kind of funny like that. So right here, grabbing that, bringing it back, and creating a const, okay? What is this going to be? Well, it's going to be our parsec conversions, like this. That's going to be an object. We're going to paste this in here, re-indent it. The 1 becomes time. Now, you'll notice that this space jumped really large. That's a tab, right? Anytime we're copy and pasting the table from here into the code here, we get tabs. I don't like that. There's actually a couple of them, but we're just going to colon space it. The other one is right here. You can see that little arrow in there. So this is distance, which should be colon space. And now we can do some stuff. So using some magic cursors, I'm going to grab all of this and wrap it in curly brackets because it's going to be a new object. We're going to return that object. And the first value, so now I'm in front of that number, the first value is going to be the amount. This is the conversion amount, okay? So that is 6, and then we need a comma here. And the second one should be the unit, okay? Just like this. Now what we want is we want this to be in quotes, just like that. And to finish, we need another comma, okay? The comma ends the whole line. So we need all of that. But now we have some really interesting documenting code. We know that our parsec conversions, we have a time conversion and distance conversion. The amount is 2. This amount should absolutely be 3. I was about to catch myself. And it describes what it is because we left the units in there. We might, later on, we might want to use the units to generate a string. So it might be x parsecs equals some sort of hours, right? Or x parsecs equals some sort of light years, right? We have that flexibility now. So back down here, instead of having 2 with a comment, we can just go parsec conversions, which I'm just going to copy like this, dot time, right? So now we know that if it is odd, we're doing a time conversion. At least hopefully that makes sense. Otherwise, we are doing a distance conversion. Again, kind of a weird challenge. But the key here is how we set this code up to make it easier to maintain. Putting those magic numbers down in the function makes no sense. Putting them up here and letting the code describe what we're getting, or better yet, having all this come from some sort of an API or database, that is the cherry on top, right? That's where we want to live. It makes everything easier. We're not quite done though, because we are returning an object here, which means that factor should be factor dot amount. Okay, so we got the time, the amount, or we get the distance and the amount. So right here, and everything works. Okay, this is where I would leave it today. This is a great, simple little thing. And the key here is trying to make it as easy to maintain as possible. Even if this variable lived at the top of a file somewhere, right? You were importing convert parsecs into your code, and this just existed inside of that same file with this function. Now it becomes really easy to maintain, right? Because you can see, oh, it's like, oh, I got parsecs time, that's time, the amount. I update this to whatever it was, right? And it would work. It's not going to work here because this is how the tests work, but easier to maintain, right? And that's the key. That's where the real magic happens. So this is it. Again, not every solution, just hopefully one good solution. If you liked it, if you hated it, if you found a different way that you want to share, hit me up, all of that stuff into the comments. Otherwise, today this has been Parsec Converter, and I will see you tomorrow.